This is week 11 of the Design Dojo. The assignment this week was to pick any kind of object. For me, I picked this, a drive cork. And the point of the exercise was to pick an object and get so close to it and take pictures, but getting so close or putting the object in some kind of way that you kind of lose the object. It's an exercise about pushing in and almost getting some abstract. Then with editing, we can push them further. But the goal really is to see if we can get images and get something out of a random object. Go to the Dojo feedback. These are some pictures that one of you took. These are really great because I can't discern the object. You know what I mean? It's kind of all over the place. It wasn't part of the exercise that you could cut them. It was, you could edit, but in the sense of like making a crop, you know what I mean? Making the selection out of the image itself. This is a bit more editing that it was supposed to, but the spirit of the exercise, it's still good, I think. This one, it's amazing. I have no clue what this object is, but the pictures are really evocative, right? These are assets that we could well use for a poster or for an identity or whatever it is, you know? And the object was this. So this is amazing. Again, guys, it's a really nice exercise to get into the nooks and crannies of whatever is around us and finding our inspiration there, you know, really noticing and paying attention to our surroundings. It's a overpowered like thing, you know. We go into Google, we go to AI, and look at this that my guy did. From this, I can kind of see that it's a bottle, you know, but with a bit more editing, you could perfectly use this for something, you know what I mean? Look at this gradient. This is a picture of a bottle. This is great. You could even put a portrait on the monitor and then shoot through the bottle, and you could get like a really nice effect, you know what I mean? This one, it's amazing. Just a bit of editing, you could make it look like it's a wormhole into another dimension or something like that. Really nice, simple, but this was the exercise. My guy took this from last week's exercise, but the picture he used, this was the poster. I told him that this was going to be really nice for the next week because I already knew what the next week exercise was going to be. So here, he did it first, you know what I mean? Without noticing, it was about picking an object, but he did the chair, right? But he didn't really highlight the chair. He used the chair to create like a pattern. And here, if you zoom it just a bit more, you kind of entirely lose the chair and get a really nice like texture, you know what I mean? So here my guy really overdid it. Like, look at this. Like here, and my guy has a perfectly usable pattern that's evocative, that's interesting visually, you know, and it's some chairs when you zoom back. So that's what I mean with this exercise. Maybe now that you're watching this and maybe you're getting it a bit better, I would really encourage you guys to give this exercise a go because it's really powerful. I don't do this enough, and I would like to try it even more, you know what I mean, to get more interesting images and to play more with the camera. Right now with our phones, we have pretty powerful hardware. It's a waste to not use it, you know what I mean? It's not always for the sake of simplicity and speed. Sometimes it's nice to get in there, you know what I mean, and try to find some shit. So these are all the images that I've got. My guy here is saying it's definitely a fun exercise to think differently, like a photographer looking for the abstract. Yes, I like to think it's like a photographer. I wanted to not like get caught up in like an identity, you know. The photographer is more like you're using photography or your camera as a tool to get a nice image, you know, because you want to create the experience of the image you're trying to look. It's not like this is a exercise for photographers only, you know. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like a tool of photography, but we use it to conjure an image, you know what I mean? To summon a cool image, you know? I'm using like the new iPhone. It has like a really nice camera, like the macro lens that it has. It's really good. And first I would like to, for example, here already we have something that I think it's really cool. But let's go back. Let's go one at a time. I don't want to jump into the tools. I'm showing you this view of the exercise because I think it's really nice to not focus on the tools on themselves. I mean, like in Photoshop, to just focus on what's happening on the screen, and you can let me know if you want to get something more specific. But for example, right now on top of everything, I'm gonna be dropping a gradient map, and below the gradient map I'm gonna be dropping a curves adjustment layer. In the gradient map I'm gonna put some color to it, but I'll show you why in a second. I'm just changing the blending mode of the gradient map because I just want to give the image just a bit of color, you know. I'm using the gradient map to color the image a little bit, like that. Now below everything, I'm gonna use, these sections aren't out yet. These are to create really fast noises. So I create that noise and then finer noise. So it's really noisy, really gritty. And both layers, we're gonna get rid of the fill just a little bit, so we have something more easier to work with. You know what I mean? I'm gonna change this because I want to get something a lot more cool, a lot more cooler to the eyes. Cooler in the sense of cold colors, something like that I like. And you can see the tonal difference that we get with the gradient map. It's really cool, right? This is without the gradient map nor the levels, the curves that I did. So now that we have something that I kind of like, you know, once you get your pictures, we start to pull in, you know, we start to work with something like this. We start to really get in, you know. Also, the noise and the coloring with the gradient map helps. If we get too inside like a photograph and we blow it up a lot, it helps us fight a bit of the pixeling and the blurriness, you know what I mean? But this is kind of what we want right now. We want blurriness. We want to lose the object, you know what I mean? And now I'm playing with this. We can grab something. Look at this. This is really great. I like it. But that was not the point of the exercise. It should look like a photograph, but it should be a bit more abstract. This is a much more intuitive exercise. It's not so much about, it's not so logic like typography or some of that kind of stuff that you can go by feel, you know what I mean? But here it's about just putting the photographs, cropping them in an interesting way, and just seeing what you can find, you know what I mean? Here we have an image. I'm gonna just save this one, like a JPEG, hi. I just name it untitled, let's go. And from this same photograph, let's see what happens if I turn it around. Here we have another one, take a look at this, guys. You see what I mean? And just like that, you start playing. I have this one that I think is really great, but you can see here, you kind of see the object, you know what I mean? Like this is a picture of that. See? And like so, we can come closer maybe to this part, and we are looking for different kind of compositions, you know, all within the same object, within the same thing. Like, what is this even? But as an image, it's interesting. This could very well be like an interesting, like, I don't know, render to use on a poster. It's about creating an interesting composition, you know. When I started painting and to be a concept artist, we would do exercises similar to this one, you know, some selection here. This is all like, we're gonna separate the values. I'm gonna try to do this real quick. It has nothing to do with what we're doing, but it's similar. Maybe to this, we would have to, I'm gonna just paint with a bluish value, make it a bit more light, you know, something like this. Turn down the fill, right? In the background, it would be even lighter, something like this. And then to the front, it would be like a darker hue, something like this. And the point of this was to see if we could sort of map like an illustration, like a landscape or something, in which maybe we have like a character here. Maybe you have like a character here that's with its staff. Maybe it's like a wizard or something, I don't know. And it's standing there, and the point of the exercise was seeing if we could find this interesting composition within everyday objects, and from here like start building the compositions like that, something like that. And just like that you started, and then you had to paint over it and finding the, but this is more like a concept art exercise. That's still a great one, but yeah, really crazy. Yeah, it's exactly that. It's an exercise for experimenting, for letting go, for just seeing if we can find something. Like, look at this. This could be very well like a picture of whatever. I'm just grabbing any picture to create like a really simple composition. But look at that, guys, really simple. And you can turn the something like that. And if you want to go really crazy, we drop a threshold. And that's it, that's game. We can go really inside if you want. Not in a million years you would know this is like a bottle opener. Let's play a bit with the values. But see how the corroded metal looks almost like meat. You know what I mean? This looks like some kind of being, you know, like something crazy. This one is really good because it has that line at the back part that you would never guess what it is. And you wouldn't come up with this image like just at the top of your head, you know what I mean? You need to look for it. You need to go and find it, you know? Sometimes we think of, and I used to be in this camp like in my junior years, that thinking that the image in its final state had to have come from your imagination 100%, you know what I mean? And it's not at all like that. You develop your tools, you develop the ways in which you can look for these images, right? Experimenting, that is what experimentation is. And this is a really nice exercise for that. Or at least to build the practice of like getting close, you know, getting close and personal and seeing what you find, you know what I mean? It's like lifting a rock. Oh, there's a bunch of spiders there. Oh, that's really cool for a poster. This one is really great. I really like this image. Here you can kind of see that it's a bottle opener, you know what I mean? Here you can kind of still see it, but if we go, now it's not so clear. I think I like more of this direction. And here we have an easy poster. This is a classic layout for a poster. Boom, you know, instant Swiss design poster. Boom, poster. Oof. Here we have a nice one. There we have one. This one's better, I guess. You can see the bottle opener too much. Maybe if the image is upside down, maybe it breaks a little bit. Maybe like that, it creates an interesting something. This I like. That's kind of the gist of the exercise, you know, guys. And then the next exercise, we're gonna be doing like a poster with the images we took. I think there you can see that it's some sort of device, but you can't really tell what it is, you know. You can't also figure out if it's small or if it's large, you know. So I think here, for example, we have a nice sequence. Well, you see, but you could say these two are bringing almost the same rhythm to the system. They are kind of similar in weight, like in feeling, they are kind of similar, and I prefer this one, you know what I mean? So we're gonna get rid of this one. Now, what's the one here? Okay, this one's nice because it's really close. So it's nice like for a sense of rhythm in the series. It's nice to have like one that it's like super far and then once that's super close, you know, that change in rhythm. Here I feel we have like a nice sequence of images. Well, if no one has any further questions, it was really fun, guys, to share this time with y'all what I did this. Hope to see you in the next one, guys, also in the Discord channel or whatever. So you already know how it is. Fuck peace, wish you conflict.